All right, let's go ahead and move on. Dean Ambrose versus Kane. Honestly, I don't really have that much to say about this match. They had their thing. Next thing you know, the whole time Seth Rollins was at commentary, but at one point he stands up, he starts drawing attention towards himself. Ambrose attacks him. Ambrose gets nailed by Kane, gets chokeslammed, and then he loses. And that's really all it is. And then afterwards, Rollins comes in and hits him with a blackout. So really, I mean, not really too much noteworthy stuff went down in this match. So I'm cool with just moving on after you get your piece in.
Yeah, in my piece, I'm going to try and keep it succinct. This wasn't about Ambrose facing Kane so much as it was about the larger overall story of Ambrose and Rollins. And I love that Ambrose is so fixated on Rollins that he doesn't even really care about wins or losses outside of that vendetta, because we've seen obsession storylines before, and some of them done very well, others not so much. But here, I think it has potential to be truly brilliant, because you really sympathize with Ambrose because he wants something so badly that he has tunnel vision to everything else going on around him.
Right.
He wants a pound of Rollins' flesh, and I think that means more to him. The way Ambrose is selling this, if somebody said, hey, Ambrose, do you want to be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion? Just sign on the dotted line. And he saw another contract that said, you want a match with Seth Rollins? He'd take the match with Seth Rollins. That's how bad he wants Seth Rollins, and I love it. Freaking love it.
Yep. You know what, dude? If he does get into that Money in the Bank match, he's probably going to not even try to win it. He's going to spend the entire match trying to get his hands on Seth Rollins. And if he does finally do that, he's going to spend the rest of the match trying to figure out new ways to inflict pain on Seth Rollins.
Exactly. To sum it up for me before we move on, if Dean Ambrose gets in the Money in the Bank ladder match, which I would bet the house on for the record, he doesn't care about, Dean Ambrose has to win. No, all he's going to be fixated on is how do I make Seth Rollins lose? And that's awesome. Yep. So we can move on, Ashton.
All right, so up next we had Zeb Coulter cuts his promo, Swagger versus Big E. We kind of talked about this in the heat of the night, so if you have anything else to add, go ahead. Otherwise, let's move on.
Absolutely not. Let's move on.
All right, so now Summer Rae, this is kind of what I talked about in my heat of the night. Summer Rae and Fandango in the backstage. She tells him that she loves him more than Layla does, pulls him in, plants a kiss on him. Layla sees them and freaks out, storms back into her locker room. Fandango comes out for his match, no valet. He is in a match with Bo Dallas, who is still brilliant as far as an entrance goes, and really pretty much everything else he does from a heel standpoint. At one point, Summer Rae runs out, starts dancing with Fandango, thinking that she won him back, but Layla runs out, starts fighting with her. Ended up getting Fandango kind of screwed over in the process. Bo takes advantage with the Bo Dog for the win, celebrates with his victory laps, and that's about it.
I asked you earlier how you felt about Seth Rollins' his garb, everything that he's got going on. Now my next question to you, because you talked about everything in the match, what I was kind of fixated on wasn't even that. It was the crowd. Did you see how many Bo Leave signs there were and how many positive Bo Dallas signs and people there were in the crowd? I was floored by that.
Yeah, I didn't really pay that much attention to this match, honestly.
Dude, it was crazy. Bo Dallas, and I'm not trying to be hyperbolic, Ashton, which is why I'm going to encourage you to go back and watch it and just pay attention to the crowd specifically later on. But it seemed like he had his own section, dude. Like, that to me is nuts that already, and he hasn't even been on the main roster that long. I'm wondering if those people that made up that part of the audience really followed NXT closely. Because, they were so into it. And, there were positive Bo leaves. There was one sign that called it Bohio, because I guess they were in Ohio tonight. It was surreal to know that, that many people were actually behind him, which either means that, he's one of those heels that, shockingly to me, they love, or, which I highly doubt, they really believe that he's trying to be inspirational and they're lapping up his message like a kitten to milk. Either way, I don't know, I kind of dug it. And what was even great about this, getting back in the confines of this match, after Layla and Summer Rae have their little skirmish and Fandango suffers for it with a straight kick to the head, Bo, he's feigning concern. He goes over to Fandango, checks on him, but then, like you said, Adrian hooks it in, looks around, and he's like, oh man, wait a minute, this is my chance to go 8-0. Hits it, gets the 3 count, and then afterwards, after he does like 3 victory laps, which the crowd, at least to me, seemed, not canned or anything, seemed to eat up, gets on the mic and he says, Fandango, there are other fish in the sea. All you have to do is Bo leave.
Brilliant.
I love him. I do. I think my palate for wrestlers is changing because I once hated Bo Dallas. I now love Bo Dallas. I think an older version of me would have found Stardust to be incredibly ridiculous. I freaking love it right now. Like, it's crazy what I'm falling in love with right now in wrestling, but I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just enjoying the ride.
Yep. Yeah, I agree pretty much. Definitely looking forward to see where they go with his character, though, if they actually throw him into a feud and what that first feud might be. But we'll talk about that later. So up next, we had our main event of the evening, the 4-on-3 handicap match, which we did kind of complain about on Heat of the Night a little bit. The Randy Orton, Alberto Del Rio, Bray Wyatt, and Cesaro versus Roman Reigns, Sheamus, and John Cena in a 3-on-4 handicap match. And really, about 3/4 of this match was about John Cena trying to get the hot tag to Roman Reigns.
I will give this match this one credit. I did like that aspect of the match that you just referenced. The fact that they really teased Roman Reigns getting into the match, including very early on before John Cena was even isolated by the enemy team, by Cena tagging and Sheamus tagging and Cena, just building upon the alleged trust issues that were kind of established in the opening segment, because they knew the more and more we tease a mastodon like Reigns getting in this match, the bigger the pop is going to be in Ohio when he gets the tag.
Dude, Michael Cole practically said that. He said, when Roman Reigns gets this tag, the roof is going to blow off this building. And JBL said, yes, it is, Michael.
That was great. But yeah, and you know what? Michael Cole was dead on point, because when Reigns got that tag, the audience erupted. You know what? We were talking about Reigns earlier, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again, but hearing that reaction, it's always just in my nature to be tentative about everything that any wrestling promotion is doing. I hope that they handle this with care and they do it right all the way through, because Reigns, it's ridiculous how much people love him right now. So, yeah, he pretty much dominates. Again, great teasing with Cena to get to that point, and Reigns doesn't disappoint, finally coming through. And, yeah, long story short, Reigns picks up the winning pin on Alberto Del Rio. It's kind of ironic because one of the strongest men, in my mind, in this ladder match just picked up the pin on one of the weakest men in this ladder match, in my mind. What do you think, Ashton?
Nothing surprising about this finish, dude. To me, it came down to one of 4 potential finishes. Either one of the 3 baby faces was going to pin Alberto Del Rio, or Bray Wyatt was going to pin Sheamus. Well, those are the 4 options to me, and it just so happened to be option number 3, Roman Reigns pins Alberto Del Rio.
And he did just that after a spear. I mean, no matter how much the heel team tried to stop him, whether it was Bray Wyatt, Superman punch. Cesaro, well, you're taken care of by Sheamus. And then Randy Orton, well, I already disposed of you too. And yeah, and we know Randy Orton wants no part of Roman Reigns, at least not right now. And yeah, when it came down to Roman Reigns versus Mexico's greatest export, as JBL likes to call him, yeah, one and done. That spear, devastating. And babyfaces celebrate while still kind of eyeing each other a little bit and eyeing the gold, because they remember the purpose, they remember the central focus, and we're just steamrolling through Money in the Bank.
And to close the entire segment out, we get a Roman Reigns John Cena handshake, as if Seth Rollins sold out. Let's talk about how Roman Reigns sold out here tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure the higher-ups at WWE perceive it as, well, if we have John Cena endorse Roman Reigns and give that nod of approval, it'll mean something. Yeah, it could mean the death blow, which I don't think it will, but just be careful how you handle the interactions between guys like Roman Reigns and John Cena. Lord knows you don't want to tarnish his image. So, and that's nothing against Cena. That's just, I mean, it is. That's how people perceive Cena. He's got that love-hate relationship.
He's a frickin' corn dog.
Yeah, pretty much. So, just Be careful with that, WWE.
John Cena hasn't been cool since 2004.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I was even doing the math in my head. I'm like, yeah, when was the last time John Cena was cool? And yeah, that about sums it up.
Really, I mean, the last time he was cool was before his feud with Kurt Angle.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah,
I mean,
that's...
to me, as soon as Kurt Angle said, "This guy is whiter than me that thinks he's black," I was like, "Ha! John Cena sucks now."
That did it for you. When Kurt Angle pretty much comes to the realization, yeah, you're even whiter than I am, dude. Yeah, that was hilarious. So then when they feuded again on Raw, I felt like that really was for me a final on the coffin, because personally I found Kurt Angle hilarious. Like, here John Cena's cutting promos about overcoming odds and everything, and Kurt Angle's cutting promos about going back in time and making Jesus tap out. Like,
No, the one group of people I hate most are the blacks. And of course they freaking stuck Daivari with him because they couldn't figure out how else to get heat.
I don't know. I mean, I felt so bad for Kurt towards the tail end, because to me, I always had the deepest respect for him, of course, with his feuds and stuff like that. And, you know, I'm a sucker for technical wrestlers, so I did want to see Kurt, you know, make it back to the top. But that was some of his best heel stuff, because it's not so much that the stuff he said in itself was hilarious. So again, I still chuckle when I think about going back in
At
time
that
and making
point,
just tap
he had given up. Like, it was at that point that he was just like, "Oh, they want me to be heel. I don't know how to do this. The crowd wants to cheer me. Why can't they just cheer me? I'm just gonna phone it in." And he did, and we loved him even more for it.
Exactly. His delivery, like what you just said that he said in that promo, he says it with a straight face, and Daivari's just kind of nodding his head in the background, smiling like, yep. And it works. It works. Oh,
Oh,
man.
so good. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, Cena hasn't been cool since '04, so stop trying to get him to rub off on Reigns if you want Reigns to stay cool.
That's what we're saying. Yeah, I think you really have a hot commodity that has a long life in Roman Reigns, but interactions are a precarious thing, because you know anybody will pounce on any little thing. So just
Including us!
including us. So put the kid gloves on and handle it with them.
Actually, take the kid gloves off and put on the frickin' bracers, because that's what Roman Reigns wears, and it's frickin' cool.
Yeah! Believe that!
Believe in that. No, now I got.
We can't do it anymore.
Now I'm sad.
Oh, it's okay. I'm probably going to watch that Kurt Angle segment after we're done here on YouTube. Now I'm thinking about it now.
Yeah, so that's how we close out SmackDown. It was a great show, lots of fun.